Hey, it's Josh Phelan, and today we're going to be going over a couple of exercises, movements, and stretches that are going to be able to help strengthen some of the muscles that we need for good hip mobility, and especially if you're just having some day-to-day hip pain. I hope these will help with you, and this is kind of like the stepping stone. This is where I'd recommend to start, and then later on it would be progressing from these movements moving forward. But for these moves I'm about to show you, it's only going to be about 10 reps on each one of the exercises, and then for the stretches, it'll be about 30 seconds that you're going to want to aim for the stretches, and then for the planks, that's also going to be about 30 seconds that we're going to aim for that. So speaking of planks, let's start there. We're going to be in a plank position. So planks are done wrong by most people that I see at the gym. So in order to do it properly, the big idea is not only to flex the abs as hard as possible, but you also want to squeeze your glutes, your butt cheek muscles as much as you can. And you want to flex the quads in order to kind of pull the kneecaps up as opposed to having them in a relaxed state. So by flexing the quads, we're going to help protect this area along with the glutes, and we also want to pull those toes towards our knees. So we're aiming for about 30 seconds here, like so. So we want the elbows directly underneath of our shoulders, and feet can be wider if we need them to be. So the wider your feet, the more stability you're going to have, and the closer your feet are, the easier it's going to be. But I would recommend about shoulder height or shoulder width for your feet positioning. And then from here, we're trying to squeeze the abs, the glutes, and the quads as hard as we can, while also trying to pull the elbows towards our rib cage just slightly. So if I'm normally here with my hand positioning, I'm just pulling my forearms in slightly, okay? Trying to engage a little bit more muscles there, okay? And we're pushing the heels back. So the idea there is 30 seconds, tighten up everything as much as you can. You're probably gonna start sweating pretty quickly. And then similar idea or concept for a side plank. So I'd recommend putting your top foot in front, okay, if you're not gonna stack your feet. So put your top foot in front, and then to make this even easier, we're gonna go here with it, okay? And we're trying to get a straight line throughout the midline or the center of our body. So we're trying to straighten that out as much as we can. And as a bonus, we can reach this hand up. And again, the concept is 30 seconds of holding there. And then our last kind of exercise with just the hold is gonna be an airplane. So we'll be laying down on our stomach completely, arms out wide, and you're simply lifting up, trying to squeeze everything as much as you're able to with getting your eyes as high as you can, okay? And you're lighting up that entire posterior chain. So you're lighting up your rear delt, your upper back, your rhomboids and such, and throughout the lower back, as well as your glutes, and trying to get the quads and the chest off of the ground as much as you're able to. So these are more so stability exercises. And then we have our Jane Fonda series, which I'm a big fan of. So we're gonna be here comfortably lying on our side. And then the two big things to consider is always have your toes pointing towards the ground, okay? So if we have my foot position where it's going up towards the sky or towards the ceiling, then it's actually gonna put more stress on our knee. We don't want that. So we're gonna rotate and dump the foot down towards the ground. And so we're leading with that heel, and we're trying to keep this leg as straight as we can throughout. And we're coming up only about 45 degrees or so, and we're going right back down. So the goal is 10 reps here. That's our first movement. And then we're gonna go forward, okay? And again, I'm aiming for around 45 degrees this time, going forward and right back. And then we're gonna do 10 reps, just going backwards only, followed by 10 reps all the way forward and all the way back, okay? And then we have circles. We're gonna go both directions. So we're gonna have circles counterclockwise and also circles going clockwise. And for all of those that I just showed you, you want to keep this knee straight, except for this final one. Final one, we're going to be able to bend this knee, and we're doing what's called bicycles. So we're just doing a very simple pedaling-like movement with that leg, and that's our last one. So the idea there is to try to aim for non-stop movement. So you're going 10 reps on each one of those exercises, and they'll get pretty painful pretty quickly, but you're going to build up to it. So when you need to take a rest, take a rest. Try to strive for quality. Do the best possible reps that you can. And then one more move, and then the rest will be stretches. So we're gonna be doing a bridge, or also known as a hip thrust. You're gonna bring your heels pretty close towards your butt. And then from here, keep your head and neck back, okay? So we don't want our head looking up or rounded spine here. We wanna straighten out and have our eyes looking up towards the clouds or towards the ceiling. And we're gonna drive our hips off the ground by squeezing our glutes, okay? And we're recruiting through here. But notice, I'm pushing through the heels, okay? So for our purpose and intent, we're trying to drive through the heels, raise our hips as much as we can, squeeze through here, hold for a moment or two, and then relax, going back down, reset, and go right back up. And once we get really good and proficient with these, we can then switch and upgrade to a single leg version of the exact same movement pattern. So you're rising up, getting those hips off the floor, and going right back down, okay? And now for a couple stretches to help, we're gonna be here. Again, the goal is to stack the bones. So we're stacking the shoulders over top of our wrists, okay? And then I'm stacking the hips directly over top of our knees, all right? So the goal is approximately 1 minute. All I'm gonna do is simply just lift this knee off of the ground. It's just barely off the ground, okay? This one I'm still pressing into, and everything else I'm just holding, okay? And this kind of sets us up for part 2. So the idea is 1 minute in this position, followed by 1 minute, we cross this leg over a little, and then we're dropping our hips to the outside of us. And then from here, all we do is just rest. We're not trying to change the angle. We're not trying to dump and drop our hips back. We're still trying to maintain that 90 degrees at the shoulder girdle, okay? And we're just simply dropping our hips over. So if this is the position that we started in, we just went here, we crossed this leg over, and then we're dropping our hips to that same side that we crossed the leg over towards, okay? And again, it's 1 minute on that. Now, for the stretches, we have, so that's gonna be a little bit gluteus medius, and one of the big reasons for doing that one specifically is what can happen is within this joint itself, the femur can kind of get out of place slightly. So what that allows us to do is it can actually help to jam that back in. And I've had this work with clients in the past where doing that over a course of maybe a week, and it might not happen the first or second or even the third time, but do it a few times and you'll get this lovely sensation and a nice audible where that's actually going back into its place, which can be very comforting after the fact. So please give that a try if you are experiencing some difficulty throughout the hips. And then we also have a hip flexor stretch. So we're gonna be here. Again, I'm looking for the bones to be stacked. So the hip is gonna be directly over top of this knee. And then from here, I'm squeezing this glute to try to get a nice stretch throughout that psoas. It's a pretty big muscle. It's about the same size as our forearm with approximately 22 connection points, right? And then from there, we're trying to push forward and lean over to that side, opening up through here, get a nice stretch, okay? And we're aiming for about 30 seconds here with a stretch. Each time you exhale, try to go slightly deeper into that stretch, okay? We're not trying to push a whole lot. We're not trying to hurt ourselves or anything. We're just trying to get to a nice, uncomfortable positioning, essentially, okay? And then there's 2 more stretches, then we're all done. So we're gonna be here. So we can just sit comfortably on the ground. We'll cross this leg over. We're going to, in order to protect our knees, we're actually gonna flex this foot and pull our toes towards our knee. And then, best we can, we're trying to get this heel as close to our butt as we can. And I've had clients before where this is about the best that they can do, and that's fine. We'll work up to it, okay? And so the process is gonna look like this. We're scooting the hands up, okay? And then we can scoot our butt close to our foot. And then if we're able to get into this position, we can kind of get the shoulders back, chest nice and big, and we're trying to get our bottom nice and tight towards our heel, all right? And again, we're keeping this foot flexed as a reminder to help protect this knee. And our final one, and ideally, we're doing all these stretches on both sides. So whatever you do on the left side, please do the same on the right. All right, and then our final stretch is gonna be here.
or we can lie down comfortably on our side, and we're just gonna pull this leg back, and I'm trying to get this heel as close to my butt as I can, but I'm not pulling on the foot. I'm actually gonna be pulling right above my ankle, okay? So it's a little bit safer on the knee joint. We're gonna be here, and we're pulling this directly to our glute. And also, I'm trying to keep this knee next to the other one that's not doing anything, okay? By doing that, we're intensifying the stretch, and we're trying to elongate this quadricep muscle to, again, help alleviate some tightness that we might be feeling throughout our hip or throughout the hip flexor, okay? So again, the goal is 30 seconds. And one more thing I want to point out about this is we do not want a relaxed foot, okay? Try to engage that foot, no lazy feet. Pull the feet up towards the knee, and then go into your stretch here to stretch out this quad. Again, I'm Josh Phelan. Thank you so much for watching. I hope your hips feel better after watching this video.